On Tuesday, two House investigative committees announced they would start looking into the questionable Uranium-1 deal that Clinton approved while serving as the nation's top diplomat, a deal that delivered effective control of 20% of the U.S. uranium mining assets to Russia's state-owned Rosatom and led to millions of dollars in donations to the Family Clinton Foundation. With the Senate already investigating this shady, if not outright illegal deal, a spate of Russian-related investigations involving Hillary crony and former campaign chairman John Podesta and his brother Tony, we may soon find out what's baloney and what's not. But the growing body of evidence suggests possible crimes committed by Clinton and former President Bill Clinton through their power base and family enterprise, the Clinton Foundation. The sudden re-emergence of the Clinton-Russia nexus, we reported on it last year, is mostly thanks to reports in The Hill and the Daily Caller last week showing that the FBI and Justice Department had found evidence that Russia had bribed a U.S. uranium trucking firm to further Moscow's reach into the U.S. atomic energy industry. It didn't end there, however. As The Hill reported Tuesday, they also obtained an eyewitness account, backed by documents, indicating Russian nuclear officials had routed millions of dollars to the U.S. designed to benefit former President Bill Clinton's charitable foundation during the time Secretary of State Hillary Clinton served on a government body that provided a favorable decision to Moscow, sources told The Hill. This is just one of a number of scandals that Hillary Clinton has embroiled herself in over the last few years. And the revelations just keep coming, turning what was initially claimed as minor contretemps into major commissions of crime. And yet, her response is always the same. Deny, call it baloney, until the painful truth emerges. Heck, remember the Clinton email scandal? It's not dead. Under a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit, the State Department has processed some 32,000 pages of Hillary Clinton's emails, but, the Daily Caller reports, has released a small fraction of those. There are still some 40,000 other pages to be processed, which could take years. Meanwhile, last week, it came out that Hillary's top aide Huma Abedin sent some 2,800 government emails from her disgraced husband's unsecured laptop, a crime. Also this week, John Solomon and Allison Span of The Hill reported that the FBI watched as our multiple arms of Vladimir Putin's machine unleashed an influence campaign designed to win access to the new Secretary of State, her husband Bill Clinton and members of their inner circle, according to interviews and once-sealed FBI records. The FBI ultimately arrested and deported a 10-person Russian spy ring, including a Cynthia Murphy who, in 2010, had edged perilously close to Hillary's State Department circles through a job she held with a leading Democratic financier. After the arrests and spy deportations, Hillary's office was quick to say there was no reason to think the secretary was a target of this spy ring. But as Solomon and Span note, there's definitive evidence the Russians were seeking their influence with a specific eye on the State Department. Did it work? Well, as The Hill's report said, agents were surprised by the timing and size of a $500,000 check that a Kremlin-linked bank provided Bill Clinton for a single speech in the summer of 2010, which came just weeks after Hillary helped put together a trip of high-level U.S. tech executives to help Vladimir Putin build his own mini version of Silicon Valley. Just another coincidence, of course. It has also emerged in recent weeks that both John Podesta, Hillary's former campaign chief, and his brother Tony had extensive business ties to the Russians that appeared to have enabled them separately to use their political clout to line their own pockets. Again, just this week, Russia Investigation Special Counsel Robert Mueller revealed he's now looking at Tony Podesta's lobbying efforts on behalf of Ukraine here in the U.S. Just more baloney? At a certain point, a mass of facts begin to coalesce into a pattern of criminality. One of the great triumphs of the Democrats in the past decade is they've managed to convince much of the public, the media and even some in Congress that the 2016 election was somehow stolen by Donald Trump working in cahoots with the Russians. In reality, the Democrats have been knee-deep in Russian muck for decades, especially Hillary Russian reset Clinton.